Good morning from Disturbia on the 9th of June, 2024. I found this video called Jesus Was Not a Jew, done by this woman named Irene Bonney, Bonney, Faulkes, Faulkes, I believe. Here's a comment. Unfortunately, the Jews are trying to make everything in the Bible about them, yet they spit on the Bible. So how did this happen? Most of all, Jesus warned us about these tares in the wheat. We are not Esau's Jews. And then there are replies. And then this Dr. Irene Bonney Faulkes, D.D., says, of course, the word Jew was never used in original manuscripts. It was never a word in English until the 1800s AD, placed there by Khazars. Now, she says that Jews are Khazars, which hides their identity as being children of Esau. So on the one hand, she's saying Messiah is not a Jew, but she's saying that the Jews are Khazars, hiding the true identity of the Jew as Esau, who stole the birthright. Now, this Dr. Irene Bonney Faulkes died, I don't know when exactly, but her son has taken over the YouTube channel. And her son is, of course, indoctrinated like Dr. Irene Bonney Faulkes was. She evidently knew Greek and Hebrew. Well, that doesn't stop her from telling lies. That doesn't stop her ignorance of what's really going on. And in fact, I'm sure she's not ignorant of it. She's just covering it up. Somebody like me, I don't know Greek. I don't know Hebrew. I do not have a doctorate. But you read the Bible and you can see the truth. You don't read the Bible and you rely on these false teachers and you will never get the truth, and that is the object, that is the aim. They are the ones who follow the oral traditions of the Pharisees of Babylon, condemned by the Lord Jesus the Anointed. That's true. The Pharisees were of Babylon. They were Edomites, just like Herod was an Edomite of Esau. Okay, the Khazars, such as Netanyahu, follow the Mishnah, the Talmud. There are no descendants today of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. How can she say that? This is a total lie from the pit of hell. She is robbing us of the truth and of our identity. This is wickedness. And this woman calls herself Reverend. She calls herself the Reverend Dr. Bonney Faulkes. In Psalm 111, it says that God is reverend. Only God is to be revered, not mankind, much less a false teacher. There are no descendants today of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What about God's promise to Abraham? He said, your seed will be named in Isaac. Your seed will be a blessing to the whole world. Why? Because the children of Jacob, Israel, a remnant of them, have brought the world the truth, which is the Messiah. I don't want to say gospel necessarily, because gospel means good spell. And the truth is not a good spell versus a bad spell. There you have the Gnosticism again. You have the as above, so below, and the dialectic. We're not talking about a dialectic here. We're talking about the truth, and she is completely lying about it. How can she say that? What happened to all the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob when God promised the seed? It is a physical seed. Her son goes on then to say that the seed is the church. It is spiritual. The church is a building. And you cannot tell me that everyone that goes into the church, especially the pastor, is a believer in the truth when they teach lies. So the idea that the church is the seed of Abraham is defunct. And yet it's propagated by the church, obviously. I'll tell you why. Because in these last days, the Catholic Church in particular says there's no salvation outside the church. And you'll get these so-called Christians saying that too. If you don't go to church, if you don't have a pastor, you are not saved. This is what ecumenism is. It is about mainstreaming mankind into the one church. You see, it's interesting because the Messiah was always going to the individual. He went to individuals, individuals came to him. Even when the Messiah went into the synagogue where a lot of people were, he always singled out an individual, or an individual came and sought the Messiah. It was never the masses that were saved. When Messiah was amongst the masses, he was always standing apart from them. He was standing at a podium. He was sitting on a hill. He went out on a boat. He was always at the head of this group, and he was always set apart from them because he knows the group dynamic. He knows the swarm dynamic of the mob. The Messiah came to save individuals. Salvation is about the individual. It is not about the church. And if you do not subscribe and ascribe to the doctrines of this ecumenism, of this ecumenical church, which is emerging, so-called, then you will be marginalized, you will be demonized, probably you will be killed. Because the darkness can only arise in full force, full throttle, when the light has been extinguished. When there's nobody there to say, wait a minute, what are you doing? This isn't true. This is what they're afraid of. This is why the Pharisees were so afraid of the Messiah, who they wanted to kill. It was not the Romans who wanted to kill the Messiah from the get-go. It was Herod the Edomite who slaughtered the infants as soon as he found out, what, the Messiah is here? You're worshiping him? Where is he, that I may go worship him? He wanted to kill him. Who was he? He was a son of Esau. He was not a Khazar. This is a lie. This is a myth, you see. The only Semitics that can be found among the Palestinian Arab being descendants through Esau, as declared Jewish scientists who tested all the living. You see, they're telling you the only ones that are Semitic now are the Palestinians. If they're mixed with Esau, and they are mixed with Esau, because Esau mixed his blood with a woman of Ishmael, with the daughter of Ishmael, and Esau, the Talmudic Jew, gave Muslims their religion. Islam is Talmudic, obviously. The Messiah came and people were being converted. So what did Esau do? He started slaughtering the children of Jacob, Israel, and the other believers. And he wanted to make sure that the Muslims got a different take on it. And he told the Muslims, here, you've got the last book. This is the real prophecy. This is the prophecy of prophecies. And this is what the Muslims believe. It's similar to the Mormons. We have the prophecy of prophecies through Joseph Smith or Ellen White. We know the truth because our prophet, and so on. The list goes on and on. You've also got Christian Scientism. You've got all these prophets that come up that want to discount what's written in the Bible. Albeit not everything in the Bible is true, but line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, you can understand what's really going on. So that's what the Crusades were all about, in my opinion. They were not Christians killing people in order to convert them to Christianity. They were the sons of Esau converting the Muslims, and then the Muslims went out with a sword against the Christians. Much slaughter in India, for example, by Christians through the sword of Ishmael. So, he was of the line of Judah, David through Mary. Messiah was not in a million years of Judah. There's no reason to believe he's of Judah. I've made copious videos about that. The Messiah was born in Bethlehem, where David was born. Bethlehem is Ephratah. Ephratah is Ephraim. Ephraim is Joseph and Israel. The Messiah, the Holy One of Israel, was born in Israel. I mean, this topic to me is just has almost become a cliche because it is so obvious. How are the Jews trying to make everything about them? Okay. I think in Judaism, the Jews themselves are supposed to be God. Yes, that's true. This is a promise of Satan in the garden. You will be gods if you know the knowledge. What is the knowledge? The knowledge is that the life is in the blood, and if you eat the blood, you'll live forever. Then I wrote here, Messiah is of Ephraim, not Judah. Esau stole the birthright, Obadiah, Ezekiel 35 and 36, Amos 1. This Obadiah, Ezekiel 35 and 36, and Amos 1 are what Esau, who calls himself a Jew, is now using against Jacob Israel. You see, the script has been completely flipped. The tables have been turned. Esau stole the birthright and is claiming now to be Jacob Israel, even though he doesn't really do it that blatantly. He will call himself an Israeli. He will call himself a Jew of Judah. Well, what are you? Are you of Israel or are you of Judah? He's Esau is what he is. Pharisees and Herodians are of Esau, who changed his name to Jew. So that went over like a load of bricks. Open your spiritual eyes. He is God. End of this pointless topic. Is this topic pointless? Does not all of history pivot on the birthright? Are not all eyes now on this slim section of land in the Middle East called Mystery Babylon, Counterfeit Israel, on these people there who rule the whole world? They print the money, they rule the world, they own the media, they own everything. And yet, at the same time, they are both perpetrator and victim. It is not pointless. And by the way, this is not Dr. Bonnie Faulkes or Irene Bonnie Faulkes. Notice Faulkes, F-O-X. Sounds the same. Go tell that fox, Messiah said, and he was talking about Herod, who was of Esau. I wrote, of course, our Messiah is God, and he is not of Judah. How ridiculous to assert that this lie of the church which is satanic. The topic of the birthright is not pointless. The whole world will follow after the beast because the whole world has been deceived by Esau, who is counterfeiting Jacob Israel. Noahide laws of Esau will bring great tribulation to true believers in Messiah and to the children of Jacob Israel in particular, who this Irene Bonnie Faulkes above said do not even exist anymore. The church is spiritual. The church is satanic. It perpetrates doctrines of demons. Messiah is of the tribe of Judah. Esau does not exist either. It is all about Khazars and so on. But if you read the whole Bible, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's not only me. Other people know the truth also. Here a little, there a little. Of course, okay, I put this in there twice because it did not appear at first. So I put it in again, and now it's in there twice. He is not even the Messiah. We'll explain later. I don't know what he's going on about that. God is creator and savior and redeemer, Messiah, coming in wrath after the man of sin. And the son of Irene Bonnie Faulkes answers and says, the man of sin is simply a mistranslation. Well, what about Revelation 5:5? That's not only a mistranslation, it was added and injected, interpolated where it ought not be. What Paul is referring to is a sinful man or mankind. Really? He talks about the man of sin. He says, don't worry, the Messiah will not return until after the great falling away, until after the man of sin comes and the whole world follows after the beast, because they're going to call it the 1,000-year reign of Christ. I'm sorry that I'm yelling, but you're just trying to get through to people. It's really difficult. It is like hitting a wall of brick. It just reverberates right back to me. What Paul is referring to is sinful man or mankind. We are seeing the biblical prophecy that evil men will wax more and more. Yes, what about Esau and his Moshiach? Not only Esau, but I'll tell you what, all the serpent worshipers are waiting. They're waiting for their great teacher. They're waiting for the world teacher, who is going to be the man of sin, who is going to be Satan in the flesh, sitting in the temple declaring to be God. Did Daniel get it wrong too? Well, born in Bethlehem, Judea. No, Bethlehem, Judea was not created until Rehoboam, which is the son of Solomon, which is the son of David. That is to say, Bethlehem, Judah was first established under the grandson of David. There is another Bethlehem. I did a video on this. I mean, my videos aren't really that important. I don't want to push them. It's just that this is well known, and yet it's a kept secret because people don't study. People go to church. People believe in doctrines of demons because they have itching ears. People believe that the mark of the beast is some sort of a thinking and some sort of a doing, and it's not a flesh mark. A flesh beast requires a flesh mark. Why do you think he requires all that bloodshed? He's Antichrist, that's why. Now, why would Messiah be born in Judea and spend his whole life in Nazareth, Galilee? Messiah was crucified in Jerusalem, which is Mystery Babylon, the home of the counterfeit birthright holder. I would say that makes him only in earthly sense a Nazarene. Messiah was not really a Nazarene. You know what Nazi means? It means a leader in the synagogue. Look it up. So the people that are telling you either you're a Nazi or the Nazis themselves. You see, it's all about projection. It's all about this mirroring and scrying and mirroring and magic, really. And if you don't know it, it will overcome you. This is why I'm so emphatic about this. The evil will overcome you if you do not know what it looks like and what forms it takes. Jesus partook of Mary, the substance, to become the perfect sacrifice. I didn't say he didn't, did I? All by a supernatural act of God, yes. Unless you know someone else that qualifies. You see, he's making a straw man argument. That's not my argument at all. You see, he's just deflecting. If you direct your attention to the video, no, I'm not watching her because she's a liar, and so is he. Creating chaos and everything, that sums it up. I am sure as of ein Sof. So he's telling me here, plain nonsense. Messiah was born, I just wrote this a couple of minutes ago, then I decided to do this video. Messiah was born in the city of David, Bethlehem. Bethlehem, Judah was not made up until Rehoboam, David's grandson. Hang on, I need to go with the cursor to show more. I find my answers in the Bible and in God, who is reality. And that is my hope and my prayer for anybody watching these videos, to just read the Bible and find out what's going on. I'm not lying. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And if you're wrong, then I will correct you.